All right, welcome to the program tonight. This is Lookup Weekend. My name is Brian Amwai. The highlights tonight.
The news headlines in association with
Tonight on Lookup Weekend, suspected cattle rustlers lynched in Mumias. DCI sleuth Boniface Muganda dies in a hit-and-run road accident along Southern Bypass.
Mimi mwenyewe nimemtafuta huyo Steven, nimeketi chini na yeye, nikamwambia ndio hii serikali tuende pamoja, akaniambia kwanza anataka kujaribu ya upinzani.
Also tonight, President William Ruto attends Thanksgiving prayers in Kitui County as he slams Kalonzo's opposition stance. And Chebukati's tenure at the helm of IEBC comes to a close as the president sets stage for the search for another chair and the two exiting commissioners.
Yippee! Kamata floating at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
Now remember, you can be part of the program tonight by engaging us on our socials at Amwai Brian on Twitter, at Lookuptv. The hashtag to use tonight is Lookup Weekend. Our sign language interpreter is Felista Adundo. Now, two men aged 39 and 22 from Elwanda Shianda village in Mumias East constituency have been killed by angry residents after allegedly being involved in cattle theft in the village of Bumamu, Butsotso East, Navaholo constituency in Kakamega County.
Gilbert Kanisio, aged 39, and his colleague Simon Chief, aged 22, were apprehended by angry residents last night before being lynched for suspected cattle rustling. According to the residents, the two are among a group of young men who have been troubling the residents by stealing their livestock, saying this is the only way to reduce theft cases in the area.
Kwa shamba tunaipiwa mboga, yani chochote hata ukiwacha nguo nje vijana wanachukua. Sasa tumeshangaa sisi wananchi tutaishi wapi? Na chief na assistant chief hawana uwezo hata kuweza kutoka usiku. Na nyinyi mkikimbia mkienda kwa maaskari wanatuambia tuwapee mafuta. Yaani kwani askari hawakuandikwa na serikali?
Consolata Juma, a victim, explains how she lost her cow, which she says is her only source of income.
Kia ng'ombe yangu hakuna, kuamkia Monday, Tuesday kaamka kuna ng'ombe. Watu wakaniamusha, kaniuliza mama, amka ukamue tuende shuleni na maziwa. Nikamwambia Sabato, ngoja ni kidogo. Hata muda kitoko nikaamuka. Nikapata hakuna ng'ombe. Tukaanza kutafuta fikia hapo saa 2 tukasema hakuna ng'ombe.
Residents are now blaming police officers and the courts for releasing suspects whenever they are arrested.
Wakiipa na kukata watu usiku, wanaruti wananyamaza. Wakishikwa wanaenda huko wanapewa bond, wanaruti pato wanaendelea na kesi na wanaipa. Inafika wakati saa zingine wanaachiliwa.
Kwa hivyo serikali ile kitu tunaomba, hawa vijana wakati wanashuka wanaenda huko tena wanarudi huko na wanaendelea na hiyo vitu. Juzi hata assistant chief wetu amechapa kwa njia sana hata akikimbia assistant chief. Sasa na ni hawa vijana tu.
Confirming the incident, the acting chief of Butsotso West, Gilbert Mutende, has called on the public not to take the law into their own hands.
Msijaribu kuchukua sheria mikononi mwenu. Sababu hata kuchukua sheria mikononi mwenu mnabaki na damu ya laana kwa mikono zenu. Kwa hivyo inafaa kitendo kama hiki kipatikana, kama umepata mhalifu, heri mlete ripoti kwa serikali ili tuchukue hatua ifaayo.
The bodies of the two will remain preserved in the Kakamega County Referral Hospital as police continue probing the incident. Samedika, Lookuptv.
Now, President William Ruto has on Sunday attended a Thanksgiving service at AIC Township in Kitui County. Ruto, who was accompanied by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, slammed the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka for remaining adamant to join the government. Lennox Sengwe now reports.
Ruto's Kenya Kwanza Thanksgiving prayers on Sunday pitched tent in Kitui County, which is Wiper leaders Kalonzo Musyoka's backyard. Kitui is the third county the head of state is visiting for prayers after Meru and Homa Bay, but the trip is billed at an attempt to reach out to the region that voted overwhelmingly for his main rival Raila Odinga.
Tulikuja hapa tukaomba kura zenu, na nyinyi watu wa Kitui nasimama mbele yenu leo kusema asante sana.
Ruto, who was flanked by both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio-affiliated leaders, took a swipe at Kalonzo for being elusive in joining Ruto's wing.
Niliwaambia Mungu akinijalia niunde serikali, nitatafuta ndugu yangu Steven nimshirikishe katika kuendesha hiyo serikali. Si namna hiyo? Na mimi nataka nimjue. Mimi mwenyewe nimemtafuta huyo Steven, nimeketi chini na yeye, nikamwambia ndio hii serikali tuende pamoja. Akaniambia kwanza anataka kujaribu ya upinzani. So wacha jaribu kidogo, alafu tutaona vile. So zinamna hiyo. Wacha jaribu ya upinzani kwanza tuone vile mahali itafika, alafu tunaweza kuongea tena baadaye. So there is no problem. Hata hii ya upinzani ni kazi pia. So there is no problem. Si tulisema kazi ni kazi. So tungangane tu namna hiyo.
At the church service, Kitui Governor Julius Malombe and his Machakos counterpart Wavinya Ndeti called upon the president to work with Kalonzo.
We have a cut line from the lowest county, ward, which is in our county, which is called Kansiku, up to where we border with Meru in a ward we call Sikuru. And I'm prepared myself to really finance, together with the national government, the cutting of that cut line so that we can have a clear border.
Tumesema wakati huu Machakos, Kitui, hata Makueni, hapa ni kazi tu. As we want to work, we want to make sure that we deliver for our people. We will work with you, we will walk the journey. All I can ask you, ndugu yako, jua vile mtaongea na yeye.
DP Rigathi Gachagua attributed that Kalonzo attended the Mashujaa Day event at the Uhuru Gardens Jamboree before making about turn.
Uchaguzi umeisha. Tufanye kazi pamoja. Tufanye kazi na huyu gavana, si ndio? Hao waheshimiwa. Makao Mungu umesema vizuri. You provide a position. Keep us in check and we are happy. Tumefika mahali tuko because huyo mzee Azimia aliwacha kazi yake ya mizani akaingia kwa serikali. Tukakuwa. You oversight us and we are ready. Ready.
Kalonzo was quoted during his Saturday tour in Homa Bay, alleging that the opposition will form a shadow cabinet on Raila's return from India to keep Ruto's administration in check. But where does the truth lie? Lennox Sengwe for Lookuptv.
Still on matters politics, the Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka is the man in the limelight from his statement that the Azimio la Umoja coalition will announce the shadow cabinet secretaries that had been laid out by the Azimio leader Raila Odinga if elected as president. Now, speaking after a church service on Sunday, Kalonzo, who was accompanied by the coalition's allied leaders, poked holes in the just concluded general elections.
Because there are several expected by-elections. Several. If some of these nominee cabinet secretaries will succeed in their endeavor, then clearly there will be by-elections. Ask yourself why Chebukati would have wanted to carry out, instead of waiting for these by-elections to come together, why did he push for December 8th? Just to make sure that he perhaps has some duty to perform, maybe to a friend, before he leaves office. That's my own conclusion. It will not be the responsibility of William Ruto alone to choose who will be the next chair of the IBC. And yesterday I compared this IBC thing to what there is in football. You know, there's a device called VAR. Ukiscore out of tune inakwambia hapana, kama ile hand of God ya Maradona. They didn't have it by that time. But these IBC guys have been doing that kind of a thing, yeah, and getting away with it and causing so much pain. I don't know why a whole team would want to incur a national curse, because what it is. Some of us speak, by the way, in another kind of spiritual authority, and I see people incurring serious curses upon themselves by their own conduct. There are men and women of this country who know what happened, and others from outside of the country. The Kenyans have now to ask themselves, is it really necessary to go to the polls?
Now, 4 detectives from the disbanded Special Service Unit who were arrested in connection to the abduction of 2 Indian nationals and their Kenyan driver are expected to be arraigned in court on Monday. And they are facing 3 different charges, even as investigations continue. This story was filed by Ian Ketani.
The 4 Special Service Unit detectives who were in custody at the Kilimani and Kileleshwa police stations were arrested after investigations were conducted and were placed at the scene of the abduction in Nairobi. The officers are expected to be arraigned in court in connection with the disappearance of the 2 Indian nationals, Zulfikar Khan and Mohammed Zaid, together with their driver Nicodemus Mwania, who are reported to have been abducted on July 23rd. The detectives are facing 3 charges, including conspiracy to commit a felony, abuse of office and kidnapping. This comes after President William Ruto ordered the disbandment of the unit, which is believed to be behind forced disappearances and extrajudicial killings in the country.
Mambo ya usalama ikaharibika. Polisi wakabadilika wakawa ni watu wa kuwaua wa Kenya badala ya kuwalinda. Tumevunja ile ilikuwa inaitwa special sijui nini ya police ambayo ilikuwa inaua wa Kenya kiholela.
After investigations were conducted on the orders of the president, a vehicle which is believed to belong to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation is said to have been used in the abduction of the 3 individuals who were last spotted in Westlands, with the vehicle later on seen along the Thika Superhighway. The 2 Indian nationals were part of President William Ruto's IT team in the run-up to the general election, with their disappearance now placing diplomatic relations between the 2 countries in jeopardy. Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Now, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations lead creative designer Boniface Muganda is dead. According to a statement from the unit, Muganda was hit by a speeding motorist last night along the northern bypass at Marurui. It is reported to be a hit-and-run incident that left the officer fighting for his life on the highway, and despite being rushed to the Kenyatta National Hospital, Muganda was pronounced dead on arrival. Right, it is time for us to take a short break here on the program. Don't go too far. We'll be back with more, including matters sports.
Yippee! Kamata plotting at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optivant's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende na nyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
For all your football, F1 and World Cup kits, Carrington Sportswear Hub is your plug for quality, sporty merchandise.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
All right, now thank you so much for staying with us here on the program. Let's continue bringing you up to date with the news across the country. Now, President William Ruto gazetted vacancies for the positions of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC chairperson, and 2 members from January 17th. Now, this is coming next year. Now, in a notice, the president notified that the current office holder's tenure will lapse in the next 3 months, having been in office for a 5-year term since 2017. Tonight, we take a look at what next for the IEBC chair. He walked into the IEBC offices in January 2017. 6 years later, after overseeing 2 general elections, Wafula Chebukati walks out as the chair of a commission that has been marred by divisions among commissioners. January 17th is the last day the embattled chair will be in office, and as his tenure comes to a close, the president sets the stage for the search for another chair and the 2 exiting commissioners. The notice reads, and I quote, "The tenure of the chairperson and 2 members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is set to lapse on January 17, 2023, having been appointed on the 18th January 2017, with the Gazette notices 399 and 400 of 2017. The first schedule of the IEBC Act then requires the president to appoint a selection panel in charge of recruiting new commissioners at least 6 months before the lapse of the term of the chairperson or members of the commission.
We should have a panel to appoint the next commissioners. Now that panel should consist of 2 persons from 2 men and 2 women from the Public Service Commission. Then we need to have 1 person nominated by the LSK and 1 person by the Council of Churches. That means now that yesterday the Gazette notice was issued, the LSK needs within 7 days to nominate a person and forward the name to the Public Service Commission. Then the Council for the Church Council also need to appoint 2 persons and forward the names to the Public Service Commission. And then the Public Service Commission is supposed to now nominate the 2 men and 2 women and forward the names to the presidents. Then the president is supposed to appoint the 7-member committee within 14 days.
According to the IEBC Act, the office of the chairperson or member of the commission shall become vacant if the holder dies, resigns from office by notice in writing addressed to the president, or is removed from office. The commissioners to be recruited will join Vice Chairperson Juliana Cherera and Commissioners Irene Masit, Francis Wanderi, and Justus Nyang'aya, who are facing ouster bids sponsored by President William Ruto supporters over their decision to disown the August 9th presidential election.
The commissioners' tenure of office is secured by law. So Parliament alone with the current law as it is spelled out, they can't chase them out of office, when they use that word. But probably what they can do is amend the law. See, Parliament is they have the power to amend the law. So if they're able to amend the IEBC Act and probably provide for now a way out, or probably convince the commissioners to resign, that would be the only avenue. Otherwise, the law has already secured the tenure of the commission.
The fate of the 4 commissioners now lies with the National Assembly, and as Chebukati tenure comes to an end, what will he be remembered for?
Looking back at how he has conducted his work, historically since 2007, we've not had a commission chairman who has handled 2 successive elections. So that's one thing that really stands out about Chebukati, that he was firm enough to be able to handle the elections in 2017 and the elections in 2022. You might notice that at some time the politicians, sometime after the 2017 elections, some politicians tried to drive him out of office. So for me, he comes out as a chairman who has been firm, who has stood his ground basically, because that is a very politically heated kind of job or kind of seat, unlike many other seats or unlike many other commission chairmen that we see out there.
He is a chair that led a divided commission that saw the exit of Roslina Kombe, Margaret Mwachanya, Paul Kurgat and Koni Maina, who resigned, and later their replacements holding divergent opinions. Cherera, Nyang'aya, Wanderi and Masit disagreed with their boss, setting motion for a court battle on the legality of the 2022 presidential elections that was termed as opaque.
Other commissioners, the 4 remaining commissioners that we have, the vice chair and the 4 others, their tenure of office expires in 2027. That means 1 month after the election, that will be in September 2027. Now that means the new commissioners that come in will need to have, we have seen a very divided commission during the last presidential elections. And so we expect that we need to have a lot of harmony between now the existing members, like the 4 members and the 7 and the 3 that are coming on board. So I believe the first thing that they should do is just have a workshop or have a boarding kind of exercise that at least we don't expect to see what happened.
From the kind of tone that the president adopted when calling him a hero, you know, all that, I expect that he will land somewhere else. My view is Chebukati is somebody we are going to see in the public limelight for some time. Of course, unless he himself decides that I'm no longer interested in being in the public limelight. Perhaps the way Chief Justice Emeritus Maraga decided that I want to go home and take care of my grandchildren. But from the tone that the president adopted, I expect that he might land somewhere, perhaps some commission chairman somewhere else.
Chebukati also goes down in history as a commissioner that once led a bungled election in 2017. As he exits office, the chair of the poll body leaves a face and commission that will have to work hard to show a united front and have the people believe in its process. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi. Now, the just concluded Cabinet Secretaries nominees vetting process has sparked different opinions from Kenyans. Now, speaking during an exclusive interview with Lookuptv, political analyst Herman Manyora has trashed the appointment committee, stating that they misconducted the process. Manyora lamented that the issue of the wealth should have been discussed deeper. Shada Kareria now reports.
After a week-long Cabinet Secretaries nominees vetting process that was completed on Saturday, the appointment committee is tasked with the responsibility of approving or rejecting some CS nominees, according to their performance during the interview.
Thank you very much.
However, according to a political analyst Herman Manyora, the entire process was a formality, as the MPs may approve all the nominees without considering their performance.
Next, of course, is Parliament itself will have gone to, of course, after this committee, there's Parliament, plenary, then there's the President to nominate them. Then they are sworn in by the Chief Justice. It's as simple as that, and they become your ministers.
While punching holes in the entire process, Manyora stated that the committee should have gone deeper into key issues, such as investigating the source of wealth of each nominee, and not just cutting across.
The vetting is not vetting. Vetting is supposed to be a serious process. For example, if you say you have all this property, we would want to know how you got the property, not a breakdown of the things you have. There are people with integrity issues. Those integrity issues have not been interrogated by the vetting committee. To that extent, therefore, the vetting is just a formality. Then when you keep telling Kenyans, I have 500 million, 700 million, the vetting committee must know this will be of interest to Kenyans. So you must go beyond. It's not a catalogue. You know, I don't think it's supposed to be a catalogue of what you own. It's supposed to be something that resonates with what people think. So if a junior politician who doesn't run any known business, who has never had a serious professional job, if he says I have 400 million shillings, Kenyans will want to know exactly how.
Manyora also undermined the effort by Azimio One Kenya coalition of appointing shadow cabinet secretaries to keep the government in check, as earlier stated by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka.
Hivi majuzi baba kirudi, we are going to announce our shadow cabinet. Shadow cabinet, because we want to hold them to account.
But for this one, they can only do it for, really, it's not constitution. There's nothing in the constitution. There's no opposition in parliament. There's the majority and the minority side, not opposition. And that office is not there. So they cannot have a shadow cabinet. But they are free to look to oversight government in whichever way. If having ministers shadowing other ministers is their way, so be it. But to me, I find it useless. It doesn't help.
Shadrack Kareria, Lookuptv.
All right, now 34 couples have married together in a joint wedding ceremony in Matungu Catholic Church, Kakamega County, claiming the economic situation has contributed to them getting married together in order to save on costs.
It was a pomp and color at the St. Paulo Ejinja Church in Matungu, vow after vow, as these couples commence a new chapter of wedlock. Speaking at the wedding ceremony, the priest of the St. Paulo Ejinja Church in Matungu, Ian Kafuna, has said many Christians have decided to gather together and organize a joint wedding as one way to save on costs due to the increasing cost of living.
Tumekuwa na harusi kadhaa. Ya kwanza tulikuwa nayo mwaka 2019, na hii harusi tulikuwa na watu wengi sana. Tulikuwa na watu 70 ambao walifunga ndoa. Hii imekuwa angalau kidogo kwa sababu ya uchumi na kwa sababu ya hali jinsi ilivyo.
Family and friends in attendance celebrated the couple's union in song and dance as they feasted together at the church grounds. Some of the couples have encouraged those planning weddings onwards to consider having a joint wedding since it's cost effective. Susan Jerry, Lookuptv.
Right, now let's get sporty tonight here on the program. Now, Kibiwot Kandia's name hailed at the 2020